90% of the people out there are right-handed. What that means is it's primarily a right-handed world, and most of the tools you'll find out there are biased toward right-handed people. But we don't want to do a disservice to the 10% minority, the left-handers out there. And also we have to take into consideration that some people like to carry two knives, matched left and right side. And also for some people, especially law enforcement officers, military personnel, who carry sidearms, in many cases what they want is the firearm on the right side and the knife on their off side, the left side. So let's talk a little bit about what it takes to find a good left-hand carry knife. So first of all, what you have to look at are the three basic criteria. We're going to look at our carry positions, essentially how the clip allows you to carry the knife. We also want to look at the lock operation, how to be able to lock and unlock the knife and do that safely and efficiently. Then we also want to look at being able to get the knife open one-handed, essentially the access of the trademark round hole if you're looking specifically at a Spyderco product. Let's take a look at a little bit of history first of all. When we look at the earliest Spyderco knives, they were purpose designed and made specifically with either a right or left side bias. So this is actually an old school Spyderco Delica. So this is a first generation Delica. And as you see here on the integral clip, this is set up for right side carry. So right side tip up carry specifically. There were versions of this that were made also for left side carry. What we had to do was invest in a separate mold that allowed us to really create a mirror image of this particular knife. A lot more expense, and it also became a dedicated thing. There was no way to buy one knife and have it suitable for both left and right-handed users. If we fast forward a few years to the mid-1990s, this is a first generation native model. And with the native model, this was one of the things that was special about this was it was the first time that we introduced a reversible clip. So what we had was a barrel bolt style clip. And what this allowed you to do was to literally, just using a couple of coins, remove the barrel bolt, flip the clip to the opposite side, and be able to set it up for left side carry. Because the other features of this knife are also completely symmetrical, it was a great solution for left-handers, and it really allowed us to cater to everybody and meet all their needs equally. That same type of clip design was also incorporated into the Delica and the Enduro. This is an Delica 98. So this is a third generation Delica that came out in 1998. As you can see, it included the barrel bolt style of clip that allowed you tip up carry left or right side. And to show that a little bit more clearly, what you can see here are a couple of our current production knives, the Rescue Junior. And you can see how it's literally the same knife, but what I've done is I flipped the clip from one side to the other. So you can see that one of these would be set up for left side tip up carry. This one's set up for right side tip up carry. And again, all the other features of this knife are completely symmetrical, so it really illustrates that point well. If you fast forward a little bit more, what you get into are 4-position clips. This is something that we introduced a few years after we did the barrel bolt style, and what we wanted was not just reversible, but also the ability to set up the knife for both tip down and tip up carry. Again, returning to this one here, you can see that this is only for tip up carry. So for people who prefer this style of carry, no problem. If you're a tip down type of person, if you like this style of opening, if you're carrying longer knives where drawing the knife and then getting into the standard thumb opening is a little bit easier when it's carried tip down, then the 4-position clip is a much better way to go. With the 4-position clip, what you have, as you can see again, we have two knives that are set up as mirror image to each other, and these again are set up for tip up carry. But you could just as easily flip that clip, attach it to the pivot pin end of the handle, and what you would have would be mirror image, left and right side tip down carry. So when you're looking for a left side knife, if you're a left-handed person, if you're looking for something to carry on your left side, one of the things you want to look for as you're reading through Spyderco copy is to look for key terms. One of the things specifically when it comes to clip carry is to look for reversible carry. Usually that applies to tip up carry, but it says that it's reversible left or right side. And then the other thing, if you're really looking for maximum versatility, would be a 4-position clip. With a 4-position clip, you have left or right side, tip up or tip down. You have literally all those capabilities, all those possibilities available to you. Now the next thing you want to look at when it comes to choosing a knife that is lefty friendly is to look for the operation of the lock mechanism. Now in simple terms, what you want to look at is anything where the lock is in line with the length of the handle and its operation is basically symmetrical. That's what's going to allow you to be lefty friendly. So on a back lock mechanism, you can see that I can operate this left or right side with equal ease because again, the design of the lock is completely symmetrical. Similarly, when you look at something like a ball bearing lock, again, it looks the same from each side, easy to open and close right-handed, also easy to open and close left-handed. no problem whatsoever. Again, completely symmetrical design. One of the other locks that does that is the power lock on this James Keating Chinook 4. Same type of thing. It looks very much like a back lock mechanism. Internally, it's a little bit different. It's a much stronger lock, has a slightly different mechanism, but the operation is basically the same. It's also completely lefty friendly. Final one of our current line that would also be completely symmetrical would be the stop lock, like on this Parada here. Again, you can see the design of the lock itself, the way that it's set up. It's completely accessible from either hand, very easy to open and close, left-handed or right-handed, doesn't matter. So looking for that symmetrical lock design is one of the things that will, again, ensure that you have something that's lefty friendly. When you look at other lock designs, for example, here we have, these are actually my carry knives, Yojimbo 2 right side, Yojimbo 2 left side. So what you can see is I've actually set one up for left side carry, tip up, right side carry, tip up. And what I've got is the ability to open both of these with equal ease. But when it comes to closing it, the compression lock mechanism is biased toward the right side. I place my thumb here, press with the index finger, that closes it. To do that on the left side, I have to use a little bit different technique, if you will. So I'm using my thumb here, swinging the blade down until it hits my index finger and closing it. And this is something for the lefties out there who are watching this, you can probably relate to this because you're used to taking right-handed tools and having to learn how to manipulate your left hand to make them work. That's a perfectly fine solution. It's not the cleanest solution, but it's certainly something a lot of folks do. What we've done, though, to make that a little bit easier on some of our models, for example, this is a military model, but you can see on this is a military model that is specifically set up for left side carry. We've actually engineered this and manufactured it so that it's designed with its liner lock mechanism to close left-handed. So you open it left-handed, close it left-handed. It literally is a mirror image of the standard version of this, which is a right-hand bias design. Similarly on this paramilitary 2, when we compare that to the compression lock on the Yojimbo, you can see that on the Yojimbo, it's set up so that you would apply pressure with your index finger, pushing from right to left to release the lock. Whereas this one is set up mirror image, so this one would be going from left to right. So to close this one one-handed, again, absolutely no problem because it's literally designed as a mirror image expression of that particular lock. The problem is that we only do this on our most popular designs. Again, we're business people. We have to be able to make smart business decisions. When it comes to being able to produce things that will sell, we have to be able to make sure that the market is valid. So when it comes to paramilitary 2s, when it comes to military models, very good selling models, and being able to produce a version that is specific for a minority of the population actually makes sense. In many cases, that's not practical for many of our other models. So what you want to do is, again, look at where can I find things that have that inline lock release mechanism? Where can I find back locks, ball bearing locks, and things of that nature? Because again, those are going to be the most versatile when it comes to being lefty friendly. Now the final consideration when it comes to operation of the knife and being able to make it lefty friendly is the ability to open the knife one-handed. Obviously that's something that's near and dear to our hearts because we pioneered that back with our very first knives. And what it comes down to with that is having accessibility of our trademark round hole. So when you look at the round hole, being able to access that both left and right-handed equally so. Again, what you're looking for when you're reading through our catalog, reading through our website copy, is a fully accessible trademark round hole. When we use that terminology, what that means is that you can access that hole equally well from left or right sides. Where this is a little bit different, and especially on some of our custom designs, some of the things that we do with our collaborators, what you'll see is in many cases these are specifically right-hand biased. So in this case, we have the Spidey Chef. You can see that the hole is accessible from the right side, but on the left side, the Reeve integral lock mechanism actually obscures the hole a little bit. So it's very easy to open right-handed. When it comes to getting your thumb in there left-handed, you can do it, but you really kind of have to work hard to get that. And a lot of that is simply, again, the designer's preference, taking a custom design and adapting that to a factory-made product. That's one of the limitations that comes along with it. One of the ways to get around that is to look at other opening mechanisms. So if the trademark round hole isn't the only thing that you want to use, you can also look at things like flippers. The flipper, even though the other aspects of this design For example, a compression lock is a right-hand bias. The flipper is fully accessible from either side. So when you look at a flipper mechanism, even if the round hole isn't fully accessible, doesn't matter. If you want to use the flipper opening, you can do that left or right-handed. Works equally well on either side. Similarly, if you look at something like an Emerson opening feature, obviously as this is drawn from the pocket, it opens automatically as it snags on the lip of the pocket, and it doesn't matter how the knife locks, how everything else operates, this is going to open it, so you don't have to worry so much about accessibility of the hole. In most cases, what you'll find, except for examples like the Tropin here, where this is, again, a compression lock mechanism that doesn't really allow good access to the round hole on the left side, but you'll find in most cases like the Matriarch 2 here, other things that we have that include the Emerson opening feature, typically they also have a fully accessible trademark round hole. Again, knowing that terminology, knowing what to look for when you're reading through our copy, and knowing what to look for when you're looking at the features and benefits of the knife, that becomes really important. Now, one final thing I want to mention when it comes to automatic knives. On the autonomy here, what you'll see is obviously is biased toward the right hand. This is set up so that when you press with the right thumb, it opens, and because the button is only located on one side of the handle, obviously it's biased very strongly toward the right hand. But by having this large button here, which we originally designed for the Coast Guard to be able to use with gloves on, what it also allows you to do is to be able to fire it very easily with the index finger of the left hand. So again, even though it is a right-hand biased design, when it comes to ease of operation left-handed, it's no problem because again, the design is well thought out, and it also takes into consideration some of the concerns of catering to a left-handed audience. So again, what you want to look at is basically clip position, primary determining factor, because you want to be able to carry the knife on your left side. You also want to make sure that the operation of the lock release, is also something that is lefty friendly, specifically things like back locks, ball bearing locks, anything that is in line with the handle of the knife and basically gives you a symmetrical design of the knife. And then finally, the accessibility of that trademark round hole, or having some other way of getting the knife open easily with one hand. If you look for those specific features, if you educate yourself a little bit, and especially if you focus on those key terms, you'll be able to find something that works just as well for your left hand as it does for your right.